I was pretty surprised when I got to the edge of the cliff and saw how far the water below suddenly seemed. Shit, I thought, as I peered past my toes and over the side at the dark water sloshing far below. I began to wonder if standing there would one day be counted among some of my more questionable life decisions, like getting married when I was 24, or insisting to my then husband that having a fourth child would complete me. I actually used those words. Earlier, I had sat on a picnic blanket eating a sandwich while watching swimmers jump off that same marble ledge, and it hadn't seemed so high up. In fact, I felt kind of ballsy agreeing when one of my kids suggested that we climb up and jump in ourselves. It was the summer after my husband of 18 years had moved out of our house, and I'd taken our 4 kids north to stay at our friend's place in Vermont for a few days. We swam at a local waterfall and ate sticky cinnamon buns at our favorite farmer's market. At night, the kids splashed around in the condo complex's indoor pool while I sank into the steamy water of the hot tub and contemplated all that I'd set in motion. A few months earlier, I had found myself teetering on a different kind of ledge. My marriage was collapsing, but I couldn't find the nerve to jump off that cliff of indecision into divorce. But then my husband gave me the push I needed, you know, the kind of thing that in retrospect you don't necessarily end your marriage over. But our relationship had been on life support for so long, it was like he finally just walked over and pulled the plug out of the wall. Suddenly, I found myself free-falling into unknown territory, the land of attorney retainers, every other weekends, and vacationing alone with my 4 children. One day, on that Vermont trip, we drove over to the quarry in Dorset to dive off the big blocks of marble into the swimming hole's icy green water. We sat and ate our lunch and watched people of all ages, parents, teens, kids, stand at the top of the white cliff and contemplate the fall, while others shouted words of encouragement from the comfort of their picnic blankets below. Some recklessly flipped backwards off the 20-foot cliff like it was into some backyard swimming pool, while others sheepishly made their way back to the bottom on foot. "The girls should jump together," my oldest daughter announced, and my 2 girls and I picked our way up the dirt path that led to the top of the cliff and looked down. So, it turns out, things look a lot less threatening when viewed from a distance, when considered in theory, like snowboarding or turning 50. But when you're standing with your feet dangerously close to the edge of a cliff and there's nothing between you and some really dark, cold water but 20 feet of air, you start to lose your nerve. I started to rethink my earlier bravery and weighed the embarrassment of retreating to my blanket in defeat versus plummeting to my death. "Don't overthink it," yelled one of the more helpful parents from her picnic blanket as she watched me move close to the edge and then back away. "I'm really nervous," I told my girls. "Maybe we should just go get some ice cream instead." But jackassery prevailed, and we debated whether we should jump at the count of 3 or the word go, while my oldest son stood below holding a camera and shouted for us to hurry up so we could take our picture as I had instructed. I stood at the top of the cliff with my daughters standing on either side of me and thought about what I wanted my children to know about me as their mother. Did I want them to see me as someone who backed away from something that scared me? Or did I want them to know me as a mom who was willing to take a leap of faith? And then I heard my older daughter say, "Go," and the 3 of us leapt off the side. We flew together through the air and plunged hard into the cold, dark water, and then kicked our way back up to the surface. We bobbed in the water and languished in our bravery, our badassness. And then we swam to the ladder laughing and pulled ourselves up to stretch out on our towels and bask in the hot August sun. This year, my younger daughter made me a card for Valentine's Day. She knows I am all about homemade cards, and on the front, she printed out a picture of one of those cat emojis with the big red heart eyes, because she also knows I am all about emojis. Inside, she told me that even though I drive her crazy, she loves me with all her heart. Thanks for being such a boss-ass bitch, she wrote at the end. And I couldn't think of a better way for my child to think of me. Leaping into that pool of divorce and that dive off the steep marble cliff taught me that being a mom means that sometimes you have to step up and do things that scare the shit out of you. Things you might choose otherwise not to do, like pushing a baby out of your you-know-what, or sitting next to a teenager learning to drive. And sometimes you need to end a marriage that's not doing anybody any good. Being a mother means you can't just sit and watch the world go by from the comfort of your picnic blanket. It means that sometimes you've got to step up and be a boss-ass bitch.